formula we're going to use here, we have -7. So basically that negative b is like saying -7 plus or minus square root. We talked about b being b squared. Well, remember that when you square a negative, it's going to become positive. So that's why we're not going to worry about that, putting that negative with the 7, because no matter what, when you square it, it's going to drop off. Minus 4 times 3 times 18, all over 2 times 3. Okay, so we filled in all the letters. Now we need to take and get the answer. So someone take calculator. Someone please take on the 4 times 3 times 18. I need somebody to be prepared to do that. You got it? Okay, 49 minus 216 all over 6. Now, what do we notice happened here? Do you see we got an issue? Do you see our issue, anybody? Okay. It's going to be negative. So what is my negative number? It's going to be square root negative what? So who wants to subtract that from me? Who has 49 minus 216? Someone, Erica. She's done her part. Someone else can answer. Negative what? Thank you. Negative 167. Now, 167, is that a perfect square root? Not looking good, is it? No. So let's do this. Go ahead and do the square root of it. Now, don't put the negative in your calculator. I'm going to show you what happens. Just put square root 167 in your calculator. Okay, so it's 12.92. I for the imaginary. I am imaginary. So your answer is that you're done, because imaginary numbers can go no further. So we have 7 plus or minus 12.92 I all over 6. Now, on the I step, they're probably going to want it wrote as 2 separate answers. So let's write it as 2 separate answers. The plus or minus is what they're talking about for the 2 separate answers. So for the rewrite, which I'm going to call that RW, my rewrite is going to be 7/6 plus 12.92 over 6I, and 7/6 minus 12.92 over 6I. So that is your answers. Remember, if it's got a negative under the radical, that means that whatever that square root of it was for that radical, you're going to put an I behind it, meaning it's negative, so it's imaginary. It's all a figment of your imagination. All right. So do you want to try one on your own and see if you have a good imaginary one? How good is your imagination? There we go. So let's try one. So let me put another one on the overhead. Does everybody have this wrote down? Like I said, it's good to have these wrote down, because when you get ready for the I step, I want you to be able to see these. Did you think it was difficult? Was it difficult? Most of you are just kind of like, it was a problem. All right, so let's do another one. Let's do 11x squared minus 2x plus 13. Now, if we look at this, we're not able to tell right away whether this factors or not, and that's okay. We're going to use a quadratic again. So we have a, and let's make it interesting. Let's make 11 negative. So let's make that a negative 11. I want something interesting here. I'm feeling a little bit of a, I don't know, a math sassiness going on here. So we have negative 11 this time. That's my A. Let's have my B be negative 2, and my C is going to be positive 13. So right there are my 3 numbers. Look back at your formula. It was negative B, so negative 2 plus or minus square root 2 squared minus 4 times negative 11 times 13, all over 2 times negative 11. So we have a lot of negative signs in these. So make sure you copy them down. Look, make sure you don't have any mistakes there. So the first thing we're going to do, take care of that double negative. So it's 2 plus or minus square root 4. Now, if you notice here, negative times a negative is going to become positive. So JP, will you multiply 4 times 11 times 13? 572. So now we're going to add that. So 2 plus or minus square root 4 times 572 is 576, all over negative 22, because of course you got the 2 times negative 11 from above. So this right here was just the numerator for that moment. So is 576, is that a perfect square root? Let's check. We know it's positive, so it's going to be real. Luke, will you put that in the calculator for me? What do we get? What's the square root of 576? 24. So this turns out to be a nice positive number. So 2 plus or minus 24 over negative 22. So this, in other words, what I'm saying is this number could have been factored. You could have done this one. It'd have ugly fractions, but you could have done this one. This one would have worked. So over here you have negative 22 over negative 22. That's the negative side, so 2 minus 24. The other one is 26 over negative 22. Can I reduce those fractions? Do they have multiples in common? Some are saying yes. Some are still writing. That's okay. Write it down. So the top one, what's negative 22 over negative 22? You're right. So positive 1. Because you have negative over negative makes it a positive. Now, what does 22 and 26 have in common? 2. So divide a 2 out. We know it's going to stay negative because I only have a negative in the denominator. So if you take a 2 out, I get 13 over 11. So those two are your answers. Negative 13 elevenths and 1. So that is where I would have crossed the x-axis when I graphed this thing. Does that make sense? So this guy, just by throwing some pretty numbers up there, we made one work. Isn't he cute? Kind of fuzzy. All right, let's do another one. I'll leave it up here so you can still write down the answers if you need. All right, so let's say we have 5x squared plus 11x minus 7. Once again, A, B, and C. So I'm going to circle to make sure I got my numbers paired with the right variable, or in this case, location. So let's put it into our formula. This time, I'm going to have a negative 11 because the 11 is positive. Those two negative signs aren't canceling it out. So it will stay negative 11. Plus or minus square root 11 squared minus 4 times 5 times negative 7. All over 2 times 5. Now let's do the math. So try it at your seats. Let's see what you get before I put it in. So try that one at your seats first. Are we ready to check our radical? So negative 11 plus or minus square root, this is 121 plus 140 all over 10. So it's negative 11 plus or minus square root 261. Did we get that? All over 10. Did we get that part? Check your math. All right, so let's take and finish this out. So what is the square root of 261? So someone do the square root of 261, please. Okay, 16 point, let's round that last one up. So 16.16. Yeah, okay, 16.16. Now, we've got, it's down to where we just need to finish it, combining stuff. So negative 11 added to that, well, negative 11 and positive 16 is going to make positive 5.16 divided by 10. And if I go this way, I'm going to add them because I'm going to go further negative. So you're going to have that plus 11 is negative 27.16 over 10. So when you divide these by 10, you're basically moving the equal or moving it over 2 places. So this one becomes negative 2.716. And this guy up here becomes positive 0.516. On the I step, they're going to want you to put it into decimal form because it's not i's. If there's radicals in it, a lot of times they'll let you keep them, but in this sense, they're going to want to know where it crosses. So the one crosses about at a half, positive a half, and the other one crosses about a little over 2.5 negative. Okay, so as you can see that this is just giving us a nice exact where they are, but when you graph it, you're going to be kind of, you're going to have to roundish them a little bit, real close, or make a fat circle is what I call that. Make it a fat circle. Now, do I have questions over this? Let's try one on your own, and then we will see how you guys do. So this last one we're going to do is going to be negative 7x squared plus 6x minus 15. So try that at your seats and see what you get. Remember to watch your signs. So try that one at your seats. Does everybody have a calculator? Does anybody need one? Okay. Okay, now that you've had time to go through it, let's actually This is all over negative 14. So 420 minus 36 is going to give me 384. So 384 is negative. So far, how are you guys doing? Did you get that part right? Yeah, we're there? Okay. So the I means that we're going